And now let's cross over to Doha and speak to Sami Al-Arian. He's the director of the Center for Islam and Global Affairs at Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University. Professor, great to have you here with us on TRT World. See, here's the thing. The kind of rhetoric I'm hearing from Israel makes me think that Israel is not serious about the implementation of the second phase of the ceasefire deal. For example, it seems to me Israel is trying to secure as many hostage releases as it can in the first phase of the deal. And as soon as the second phase arrives, it's going to resume attacking the Gaza Strip. But not that it's not attacking the Gaza Strip right now. It's already in violation of the agreement. Because even Donald Trump, when he was asked whether or not he thinks the ceasefire deal is going to hold, he gave a very vague answer saying, I don't know. So my question is, Professor, how do you think the international community can ensure that Israel implements all three phases of the ceasefire deal?
Well, this may very well be the case. I don't think there are any guarantees that we're going to go to the second or third phase for that matter. I think Netanyahu indeed is trying to manufacture a justification to resume his genocide. The second phase was supposed to start on day 16. Today is day 32, and it hasn't been started yet. The resistance, on the other hand, Hamas in particular, has fulfilled its obligations under the agreement. It's the Israeli regime that has committed hundreds and hundreds of violations that have already been documented. But I think the proposal by Trump can be read in three different ways. One way is that he is serious. He talks about the expulsion of Palestinians. He's trying to fulfill his promise to his benefactors, to his donors, the campaign donors. But I think he lacks the tools and instruments that he needs to implement it. He's not going to send the Marines or the planes or the army to expel the Palestinians, where the Israelis have failed over 15 months of continuous genocide to dislodge them. He considers himself
right. Professor, I want to talk about Arab countries now. See, Donald Trump is someone who likes to talk about money. He's a business-minded person. And it seems to me what he sees in countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and many other rich Arab nations is money and the possibility of making business deals. Do you see a possibility where Arab nations, the rich Arab nations, would unite against Donald Trump so that he stops this vague rhetoric of expelling Palestinians from the Gaza Strip? Or would you say that's unlikely to happen?
No, that's the second reading. I was trying to say that he considers himself, in his book, The Art of the Deal, in which he gives maximalist positions in the hope that he can get what he wanted. And what he wants is to dislodge Hamas, is to expel Hamas from Gaza. And therefore, he says, I'm going to get rid of the Palestinians, and I need the Arabs to do it. And he's trying to force the Arabs to come with a plan in which he can achieve his objective of getting the resistance out of Gaza, and at the same time not pay anything for it by making these outlandish demands. A third reading also, very quickly, is that he wanted to stump Netanyahu. When he came to Washington, he wanted to get a green light to resume his war. Trump is not interested in a war because he has a very aggressive, very elaborate agenda, both domestically and internationally. And he said to Netanyahu, what do you want? You want the resistance out? You want Hamas is out? I'm going to get you every Palestinian out of there, in which the Israeli didn't really have a response. But we have to keep in mind that this proposal, this outlandish proposal of expulsion of the Palestinians is not going to be implemented. It will never be implemented. The Palestinians are not going anywhere. They have a history of this, and they will stay in Gaza, no matter what. In terms of the Arabs themselves, the Arabs are trying to figure out a way, because most of them are not going to say no to America, but they're trying to find a way in which they can convince the American president that this is an unworkable plan and that they can get politically what Israel couldn't get militarily.
But do you think that would be convincing enough for Donald Trump?
What Trump wants, actually, he wants stability in the region without having to pay a price for it. He wants to satisfy the Israelis without resuming the war. These are very, very tough targets to meet. So whether he is convinced or not, what's going to make at the end of the day, what's going to make him convincing is the facts on the ground. The facts on the ground are the Hamas and other factions are in control of Gaza despite the destruction, despite the killing, despite the massacres. And one way or the other, they have to figure out a way to integrate Hamas into a reconstruction plan and convince Netanyahu and his extremist partners that they have to withdraw completely from Gaza for this area to be stable and not to have any kind of instability in which Trump will not be able to focus on his domestic and international agenda.
Fascinating insights. Professor Sami Al-Arian, thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. As always, really appreciate your taking out the time.